Hi guys, you're welcome to Halogenious Ideas. In this tutorial, we are going to be talking about list comprehension. In my last tutorial, I discussed lists in Python, but I left out the list comprehension part because I know that many people do have problem with it. So this video is dedicated to list comprehension. So list comprehension is a concise and elegant way to create lists in a single line of code. It combines the for loop and the creation of elements into a compact and readable syntax. All right, and the syntax of the of list comprehension is very simple. All you have to do is just to say new list, which is the output, is going to be equal to the expression. Okay, so this expression is going to be the operation or transformation to be applied to each individual item. It can be to square the if your item, if you have a list of integers, for example, the expression can be something like say x to the power of 2 or x to the power of 3. All right, if it's a list of words, you can be having something like maybe character dot upper. Okay, so whichever way your program goes, you are going to be having an expression first. Okay, then you are going to be having the for keyword. Then you now say item. This item is going to be your count variable. It can be character, it can be word, it can be variable, it can be single, it can be whatsoever. It's just a variable that you would decide to put whichever variable you want to use. So for item in the iterable, so this iterable is the collection. Okay, is the collection where you want to generate another list from. For example, it can be say range 1 to 10. It can be a list of numbers, a list of words, whatsoever. It just has to be a collection. All right, it has to be a collection. Let's see. So after the iterable, you're going to be having if then condition. So this condition is optional. All right, the condition is optional, if condition, and you can write your list comprehension in such a way that the condition will come before the for keyword. You can also write it in such a way that the condition will come after the for keyword. All right, I'll be showing you how to do the both of them in this tutorial. So let's start working on examples. So let's say we want to generate a list of numbers between from 1 to 5. All right, a list of numbers from 1 to 5. If you want to do this using the regular for loop, this is what you will do. You can say output equal to say an empty list, then you come here and say for maybe item in range, or let me say num, let me just use num in range of 1 to 6. All right, then output dot append, then you append your num. Then after doing that, you come and print your output. This is what you will do normally if you want to do this using a for loop. I come here, run my program. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I want to do this using list comprehension, it's very simple. Just let me say output else, all right, equal to. I'll bring in my list. Now, what expression do I want to use? Just let's say x, for example. Then for x in range 1 comma 6, then print the output lc. If I save this, then let me come here, I'll run the two of them. You can see that I have two lists. Okay, both of them are the same thing, are containing the same element. So let's move on to the next example. Generate a list of squares for numbers between 1 and 5. So obviously we are going to be stopping at 6. We are just going to make a modification to this code that we've written already. So since what I want now is a square of numbers between 1 to 5, instead of num, I'm going to be doing num raised to the power of 2, and that is it. Then I'll come here and say x to the power of 2, and that is it. If I should run this, you see I'm getting the same list in both cases. For this first one, instead of appending num that I did initially, now I'm going to be appending num raised to the power of 2. All right, so that is it. Now let's work on an example that has to do with string manipulation. So let's assume that I have a string, say Python, okay, word equal to a string Python, and I want to generate a list. I want to generate a list such that all the items are the characters that I have in this particular word, and the characters are going to be in uppercase. If I want to do this using the regular for loop, I can just say result equal to another empty string. Then I'll start my for loop for I in range of maybe no, for let me say for character in word. This is how you would do this if you are using a for loop. So for character in word, then result plus equal to the character. But now dot upper, don't forget it has to be converted to uppercase. Come here, then you print your results. If I should print my results now, you see that I'm getting a string, but don't forget I want to generate a list. My goal is to generate a list. So instead of having a string here, I'm going to convert it to a list. Then instead of having results now, I'm going to be saying result dot append. Okay, so result dot append. Then I'll come here and close my bracket. If I should come here to run it, you see I'm getting Python. Let me clear my console rather. If I should run this, you see I'm getting Python. Now let's do this using list comprehension. So let me say results using list comprehension equal to result equal to a list. Then I'll say character dot upper. All right, for character in word, and that is it. So just come here to print results lc, run the code. You see I'm getting Python and Python. So let's work on an example that has a conditional statement in it. Okay, let's work on an example that has a conditional statement in it. So I want to create a list of squares for even numbers and a list of cubes for odd numbers. All right, a list of squares for even numbers and a list of cubes for odd numbers. So for this one, I have to write the condition at the beginning. All right, I have to write the condition at the beginning. Like I said, you can write your list comprehension in such a way that this condition will come before the for keyword. You can also write it in such a way that the condition will come after the for keyword. So in this case, I'm going to be solving this particular example using um, the condition before the for keyword. So how do we do this? It's very, very simple. You just say, for example, numbers equal to, let me have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if it's an even number, it will generate the square. If it's an odd number, it will generate the cube. Okay, so I can just come here to say that um, result equal to x. No, yeah, I have to put my list comprehension, my list constructor rather. So x, actually just the list symbol, sorry, the list constructor is this. So that's a mistake. What I'm using is the brackets. So x to the power of 2. All right, if x modulus 2 equal to 0, don't forget x modulus 2 will tell me if it's an even number or odd number. Then I'll now say else. I will say x to the power of 3. Don't forget this condition over here can either be true or false. So if this condition is true, then it will execute this one. Okay, then if the condition is false, then it will execute this one over here. So all I have to do now is just to say for x in numbers. All right, if I were to do this using a for loop, what I would do is something like this. I can say result equal to, let me rename this one, result underscore lc. All right, so equal to an empty list over here. Then I'll say for maybe I in numbers, let me use num, for num in numbers Okay, what do I want to do now? Very simple. If my num modulus 2 equal to 0, then result dot append num num raised to the power of 2. Else result dot append num raised to the power of 3. So basically, if it's an even number, append this to num raised to the power of 2. Append num raised to the power of 2 to the result. But if it's an odd number, then append num raised to the power of 3. So I have two results now. Let me hide the whole of this one. Let me comment it out. So I'll come here. You can see that I have two result variables now. So print results, then print results LC. Save the two of them and run it. You see that I have exactly two different lists. I have two different lists exactly. So that is to tell you that it works. You either write the whole of the for loop like this, okay, or you just use this one liner list comprehension to create your list. So I'm going to be showing an example where instead of writing the condition at the back like this before the for keyword, we write the condition after the for keyword. It's going to be a very simple example as well. So what I want to do is just to filter out the even numbers in a list. Okay, just to filter out only the even numbers in a list. How can I do that? Very simple. So let me use range 1 to 15. All right. So for, let me say, result equal to, I'll say x for x in range 1 comma 15, if x modulus 2 equal to 0. All right, then print results. Save this and run it. You see, all the even numbers between 1 and 15, I've filtered them out. All right, I've filtered them out. You can see in this particular case, I had to write my condition before the for keyword. Okay, because the situation necessitates it. In this case now, I have to write my condition after the for keyword. So let's talk about nested um, list comprehension. So I believe you understand that a nested list is something like this. Let me say n list equal to something like a matrix, if you remember your matrix very well. So you can say 1 comma 4 comma 7 comma say 8 comma 2 comma 9. I'm making a mistake somewhere. Where is the mistake coming from? Okay, this should be comma and comma. Sorry about that. So bring this back. So after that, say 4 comma 8 comma 9. So this is what a nested list looks like. The same way we were able to use list comprehension to generate list that doesn't contain a list. Okay, in this we can also use list comprehension, nested list comprehension, to generate lists containing lists. Okay, we can also generate lists that are containing other lists as well. Don't forget that if you want to access elements in this type of list, you have to use double index. For example, I can say print n underscore list. Then for this n underscore list, I'm going to be having double index. For example, if I want to index the second row, okay, this is going to be 0 then 1. Don't forget, counting starts from 0. So this is 0, then I can want to, let me index this first element over here. So that would be 0, that would be 1 rather, then 0. So if I should run this, you can see I'm getting 8, which is the element in the second row, the first element. All right. So clear. Now that is a nested list for you. So how can we generate a nested list like this one? How can we generate a nested list like this one using list comprehension? So the first example that I'm going to be showing, let's generate a nested list showing all the possible pairs of two numbers from 1 to 5. All right, all the possible combination of numbers, two pairs, a pair of two between 1 to 5. How can I do that? I can just say result. You can use any variable you want, equal to, then I have a list inside this other one. I'll now say for x in range of 1 to 6, because it will stop at 6. It will not include 6. So I will now say for y in range of also 1 comma 6. Then I will now come here and do something like x comma y. Okay, x comma y. So let me print results and run it. I'm getting some error. Yes, I'm supposed to put this. Okay, you can see what I have. 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4, and 1 comma 5. Okay, I'm having 2 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3. Actually, instead of doing this, I can also have parentheses here. I can also have parentheses. That is if I want to generate a list of tuples. You can see that now I'm having a list of tuples over here. Okay, you can see that I'm having a list of tuples over here. And another thing that I can actually do, another thing I can do is to do something like this. So copy, then x. This should be okay. So for x, and let me remove this one. I'll remove this one. Then for x in range of 1 comma 6, for y in range of 1 comma 6 as well, then just come here and give me a list x comma y. If I run this, you see now that I'm having, in this case I'm having a 3 level nested list, but in this case I'm having only 2. Okay, I'm having only 2. So this is 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, 4 comma 1, 5 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, and all these combinations over here. All right, so you see how you can generate a nested list, just a one line statement, and you can see how many lists that we got. So let us create another nested list. In this case, it is going to be a nested list with the sixth multiplication table. So my intention is, if I have 1 and 4, obviously this is supposed to be, it is going to be 1, maybe 6 multiplied by 1. So I'm going to be having 6 over here. Okay, then the next one is going to be 6 multiplied by 2, so I'm going to be having 12. Alright, so this is the list I want to create, and I want to do everything for the sixth multiplication table. How can I do that? Very simple. Just come here, results equal to, then for, let me say for x in range, for x in range, that will be 0 to 13, because I want to stop at 12. 0 comma 13. What I want you to do for me is just to generate a list. Okay, so for this list, the first element is going to be 6. Don't forget, it's the sixth multiplication table. The second element is going to be x. All right, now the third element is going to be 6 multiplied by x. All right, so print results and save this. No, results and save it. So let me clear my terminal, then run my command. You see, so if you look at what I'm having over here, 6 times 0, 0, 6 times 1 is 1, 6 times 2 is 2, 6 times 3 is 3 is 18. What am I doing? 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12 rather. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24, and it continues for the remaining parts of the list. Okay, so let us generate only one more example. Let's generate only one more example. In this case, I'm going to be generating a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, a 3 by 3 matrix. So how can I do that? Come here and I can say matrix. I want to do something like a row and a column. Okay, a row and a column. So matrix equal to, I'll say for row in the range of 3. Okay, for row in the range of 3, then I'll now say I'll create a list. Then for colon in the range of 3, what do I want to do? I'll just come here and say row plus colon. Alright, print matrix, run it. You see, I'm having 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and this list can continue for as long as I want it to. Alright, you see that in this example, the outer list comprehension generates 3 rows, which is this one over here. Okay, then the inner list comprehension generates 3 elements in each row. The expression row plus column calculates the value for each element based on its row and column indices. Alright, so list comprehension offers a concise and readable way to construct lists, making your code more expressive and efficient. So you have to learn this particular technique, this feature, to enhance your Python programming skills. It is very, very useful, and I think it saves you memory when trying to create a list, and it saves you lines of code. So, well, thank you very much for staying till the end. Don't forget to drop a like for the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, the comment section is open. And yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.